Hey, welcome to the Pharmacy Residency Podcast, a member of the Pharmacy Podcast Network. I just wanted to talk to you tonight or today about Match Day Eve. And I know many of you are just stress balls, like you've done all that you can. And you just want to fast forward time and just find out one way or the other. You can't prepare for the worst because you just don't have the energy. And even you can't prepare for the best because you just are hoping, and I assure you it won't be what you think it is, that feeling. It won't be this kind of elation. It's really more of relief. It's more of a weight, an expectation that's been taken off your shoulders. And for those of you that don't match, it's going to be a matter of putting yourself back together very quickly if you want to go into phase 2. And I just want to let you know I'm here with you, not just the LOI guy that likes to help with letters of intent, but it's 12:30 in the morning. It's Midwest time, and I can't stop thinking about this. It's just breaking my heart because it's. I think the thing I could do maybe is give you a little bit of perspective and timeline because you've been, most of you, are maybe in the early 20s. I'm going to be 50 in 2 years. It's crazy. But I want to tell you about a bunch of the failures I've had. And not failure in the way that you think, but maybe a little bit different. Let's see. So in high school, I took Calculus 1 and Calculus 2. And I failed Calculus 2 because I didn't realize that when you take a college class in a college that it sticks with you forever. And so it's still on my transcript that F, because I didn't know that you're supposed to withdraw. It's just kind of this ignorance thing. Even so, I got into college. I got turned down by Dartmouth, the Ivy. I got turned down by UVA, the out-of-state school I wanted to go to. And I ended up in Florida because it was cheaper than Maryland after my dad talked my way into the honors program. My dad went over there and did that. And kudos to him for, kind of having the wherewithal to say, he's got good SATs. He just didn't make the GPA cut, but I did make the GPA cut because they counted the weighted GPA, and I didn't know that. I didn't know that the APs and the honors and taking the toughest classes mattered. I would have actually been better to have gone to a private school, but I threw away every single application from a private school because I didn't know that the sticker price wasn't the real price for everybody. And so coach said, hey, you want to, the wrestling coach from this private school wants to, talk to you. And I was like, yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. And it was because I was too embarrassed to tell him, I got this limit on how much I can spend on a school, and I can't go to a school that costs that much, even though I would have loved to have continued wrestling. I didn't know that it was the athletics that kept my academics up, and as soon as that kind of fell off, I really struggled after that freshman first semester. Went downhill a couple semesters and had to bring myself back up, almost retaking a whole year of college. So to get through 2 years of pharmacy school, it took me 3. I got to pharmacy school, and I really struggled in the very first APPE. I didn't really, the whole switching from classroom to 40 hours a week was brutal. And it has never been me to keep a 9 to 5. It's just uncomfortable for me. I'd rather work 60, 80 hours, weird times than I would, 9 to 5. But I didn't know that about myself. When I first started working in retail, I started out working Friday through Monday because I wanted, the middle of the week off to take some classes, and kept changing my schedule around. I changed companies. I went from manager. I did mail order. Nothing worked. And then I went back home. I couldn't. After 4 years in Arizona, I just couldn't do it. So I went back home, and Then I started in real estate by just accident. I met someone who's a teacher, and they said, I do this thing on the side with the real estate. And it's like, wow, if you're working full time and can do this, well, maybe I can do it too. And, I wasn't very good at it the first year. I remember, somebody, I think I had a contract for a rental or something. I was like, I've never written a contract before. How do I do that? And I had to go get help from another agent. When I decided, maybe I'd like to do teaching, the school that I went to was very kind, and they interviewed me, but I really did not belong in that room. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea the path that you needed to take. So I made my own. I just started teaching in middle school science and middle school chemistry, and then I also went to teach in Kaplan, and I went to residency, got a teaching certificate. Didn't finish the residency. Had something happen with my family. Made it through 5 or 6 months. I don't remember. But that was also a tough time because I'm like, I'll never teach. I'll never teach because I didn't finish residency. And that couldn't be further from the truth, because I didn't make it through the residency, I was able to teach in summer, which started in May. I would have been in residency in July. And then because I had that experience in May, I was able to get a full-time position because I had 2 additional things. One, I taught at a community college, and then I had taught at that community college. So because of those extra points, I got the position and the call, and it was during the recession. I was working 20 hours, sometimes overnights, and I was sleeping in the Walmart or Home Depot parking lot because I was so exhausted from the drive back from overnights that sometimes I couldn't make it home. Then I came here, and I did well with the community college thing, but then I said I kind of want to do something creative, and I tried to get into this creative writing class, and they said, sorry, you're not in our major. I was in the graduate school, but I wasn't there, and so basically I got kicked out of creative writing for not being one of them. I said, all right, and that's when I wrote my first book. I was so upset about that. I was so upset about being excluded. And this is what I'm trying to get to, is that you're going to feel like you're excluded. You're going to feel like you are not in the club if you don't. And what I have to say to that is sometimes being in the club isn't the best way to get to where you want to go, because things are working out, and for whatever reason, I'm not sure why life works this way, but it's the really hard things, the rejections, the beatdowns, that bring you back. Having talked to 4 people that matched in phase 2, Key, who had worked for me, and I was just like, how did you not match? And then he matched it. Great academic medical center, and phenomenal opportunity. And I'm not sure what he's doing this year. Hopefully we'll find out Friday. Madeline Aquilano, I just talked to for the first time ever, and she had a great story as well, in that it just applied to too few, and what she saw at the time was not the way, and that's how it works, where it's so easy to look back and say, man, I could have. And her most important advice was that will absolutely kill you to go in the past and to stay in that nostalgia, or to keep second guessing yourself. If I had made this move, if I had made that move. The 2 guys from Virginia that matched in phase 2. I guess I don't want to say associate more. That's not the right word. But I definitely am more in tune with those who are going to get rejected, because over the last, I graduated in 97 to 20, so 23 years, I've had more rejections than successes, but my successes have been extraordinary. And there was this movie, Bagger Vance, and there were these three golfers. Matt Damon is as I don't remember what his name was, but Juna that was his name, and he was the one that was kind of beat down from the war, and he had some demons to deal with, and he dealt with them, and came out, and did as well as the other guys. But the other two golfers, one of them it seemed like his life was perfect. He was an attorney. He had won the Open. Swing was beautiful. Everything about it was just perfect. But what I loved was the other guy. The other guy found that with 3 terrible shots, I think it was, and 1 great shot, you could be a heck of a golfer. So, again, congratulations to those of you that did match. I'm going to be with those that didn't. And, just email me at TonyThePharmacist@gmail.com when you don't match. And I'll see if I can help you. But I guess I don't want to say I empathize with you, because that's not the right word either. What I do is I understand where you're coming from. It's so easy for me to look at, what you've got with your LOI, with your recommendations, with your CV, and tell you, yeah, this, and this. It could have improved, and you could have had a much better chance. And I don't want to do it that way. I just want to say, look, I can be here with you. I can help you get the best chance you possibly can for phase 2, and kind of talk through some of the other options as well. Now, some of you have colleges that have set things up for this, and some of you don't. I know it was a lot of money to pay for this kind of disappointment. There's kind of an expectation that if you pay a couple $100,000 that you're going to get what you want at the end of it. And there's a cruelty in this that the money has very little to do with it. And actually, if you paid a lot for one of the newer privates, many are down at the bottom. And that's really tough to find out, now. And so I guess I'm really just wanting you to take the time on Friday to do 2 things. One, absorb the shock of what happened. Do what you need to do that day, and take that day to recover. Don't worry about the intricacies of revamping your CV, your LOI. You're not there for that. You need 1 night's sleep for that. But the other thing I will do is tell you that you should start searching, and you should start emailing, and you should start emailing to those programs and getting more information to see if that's someplace that would be good. Because what it'll do is it'll keep you in motion. It won't let you stop. So that's my advice for you here on Match Day Eve. Number 1, if you don't match, take the day. Use the F-bomb if you need to. Find your music on YouTube or wherever to get you back up. But take that day to deal with that emotional loss, grief, whatever you want to call it. But while you're doing that, you won't be able to update your CV. You won't be able to update your LOI. You'll be kind of a mess. But you will be able to start searching. And you'll be able to start searching because there'll be a lot of clarity. Like, okay, well, this is what I tried, and that didn't work. So now I have this. Now I have this option, and this option, and this option. And these are in my state, or these are in my field, and so forth. So anyway, I'll be broadcasting again on match day once the stats come out. I'll tell you what they mean. I'll tell you what opportunities there are, and I'll tell you where your best chance is to match. in terms of your own thing. Again, if you want to work with me, again, let's wait till match day, but I'll need your three things. I'll need your LOI, I'll need your CV, and I'll need to know the top three required and top three elective rotations that would be most important to you, and 2 sentences about each. So anyway, hit me up, and I will talk to you again on match day. Hey, thanks again for listening to the Pharmacy Residency Podcast. I do encourage you to go to residencyhelp.com, get on the mailing list. I'll send you out an email every Friday during residency season, but then afterwards, I'll still have a number of episodes on helping you get through residency itself. And then if you're somebody that's looking at residency in the future, I'll also have content for that as well. If you have a question, I'm pretty good about getting back to you. And if I don't have an answer, I will know someone that does. So thanks again for listening to the Pharmacy Residency Podcast. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, please do rate and review. It really matters in terms of our ability to reach more people. Thanks again.